Neutral Zone Infraction / that mediocre sports show. It's a brand new week. We look a little.
It's a brand new week.
We look a little bit.
Wait. It's a brand new week. It's like, see, this one has a hood, and the other one didn't.
And I'm not.
I feel like
I'm not wearing this.
God, I look like the Emperor.
I'm not wearing.
John, I'm not your father. If I'm going to do this.
I am not wearing a jersey that was the same jersey I wore, and my hair is.
These are going to be our uniforms going forward for this week and last week.
They won't. Yeah.
7 days ago.
Randy and I did.
7 days ago.
7 days ago.
That's right.
Although we decided.
No.
I wonder if we should be honest about this.
Oh, it doesn't matter. We could be honest about it. We're filming a second show.
We're filming a second show
because we wanted to talk about
Mayweather, Oh, no, you know what? Never mind. Pacquiao, Mayweather. I'm giving Pacquiao.
Pacquiao, Mayweather. Good idea. That's a good one. I like that.
Well, thank you. I have so few. So, Randy, I want you to go ahead and discuss. Is this camera weird? Did I do something stupid? Well, okay.
The camera's fine.
Okay, go ahead.
Look at that. Go ahead with what? Okay, we're going to talk about Pacquiao, Mayweather. Okay.
Swirl.
The first thing I want. Okay. Boxing used to be a big deal. I'm sure you remember back when the heavyweights were, when you had the heavyweights and everything like that.
Any given night, any heavyweight could get beat. Even Muhammad Ali back in the 70s. Any given night.
And you used to have great middleweights like, Hitman.
Thomas
Hearns. You had Hagler. You had Leonard. You had, Sugar Ray Leonard. You had Oscar De La Hoya. You had so many great fighters that back in the day, just so many of them. Boxing has lost all of its luster.
MMA.
So boxing basically only has two guys left that we even know about, and that's Pacquiao and Mayweather. Come on, name the heavyweight champion right now.
Larry Holmes.
Yeah, maybe. George Foreman. I don't know. It could still be George Foreman.
Could be.
I think he could beat Kritsky or Kirivenko. I don't know what it is. He's Russision. That's why we don't care.
In all honesty, I thought it was Rocky.
No, it could be. But back in the day, back when Tyson and Holyfield, the heavyweight division still mattered.
It still did, yeah.
So boxing for the last 10 years has not been relevant. So the only guys that we really had was Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. 5 years ago, they were supposed to fight.
They screwed up.
But Mayweather, being the coward that he is, knew that Pacquiao could have beaten him 5 years ago. Pacquiao was on top of his game. Pacquiao was a beast 5 years ago, and he would have pummeled.
Ironically,
Floyd Mayweather.
You said that Mayweather was a coward on the radio this morning. I was listening, and one of the things Mayweather said to Gray, or whoever he was talking to, was that he texted Pacquiao, he wanted to give him a rematch, and then said, no, I'm not going to do it because now he's saying he was hurt, he was a coward. And I found it interesting that you reversed it. But go ahead, and I'll...
Well, the reason he was a coward is because he was putting all of these things in place to make Pacquiao not want to fight. He was telling him he was telling me we're going to do certain kinds of drug tests before the fight, during, all these weird things. Floyd Mayweather had this huge list of stipulations that if Pacquiao's camp didn't meet every one of those, Floyd Mayweather wasn't going to fight. And he knew that Pacquiao's camp would not do some of these.
I do remember. And I do remember.
Just a huge list of them. So Pacquiao said, no, I'm not going to fight you under all these conditions. I'm not going to give you the competitive advantage on all of this stuff. So, of course, Floyd Mayweather ducked him for years. Well, all of a sudden, Pacquiao started losing fights. Pacquiao, I think he became a politician in his native country.
He's a congressman.
Yeah, so his time was kind of devoted to taking care of the people and doing all this other stuff.
Well, and they're both older.
They're both older now. Pacquiao 5 years ago would have beat Mayweather. I believe that. The experts told us this time Mayweather was going to win.
They did.
And I believed them. And you know why? Because every one of the experts said, all the boxing experts, the people that watched, said this was going to be a boring fight. They told us in advance it was going to be a boring fight. It wasn't going to be worth the $100 you were going to pay for it.
But they said that because Mayweather's a defensive fighter.
He's a defensive fighter.
We know our stuff.
We do know this, and I'm surprised that we know this, but he's a defensive fighter. He basically lets you throw punches at him, and he counters. That's what he does, and it's a boring fight. It's very technical, and it's why they call it the sweet science, but it is not entertaining. It's not like it wasn't going to be like Tyson and Spinks, where 71 seconds in, and Tyson's killing him.
Tyson was
These guys were not going to knock each other out.
No.
They just weren't going to do it. You were going to get 12 rounds of boring. And the experts warned us all. They told us all, but we were so starved.
But they said that Pacquiao should have thrown twice as many punches.
Pacquiao should have, but if he did really have the shoulder injury...
Well, we didn't know.
We didn't know that. But if he really did have a shoulder injury, could you really throw that many more punches?
No, you can't. That was just what they thought. If Pacquiao had any chance, it would be because he threw twice as many punches.
He was going to have to keep throwing them. He was just going to have to basically try to wear him down, because the punch count went to Mayweather. Mayweather landed more punches because he was countering better. So he was going to win the punch count. For Pacquiao to win, he was just going to have to keep throwing them and throwing them and throwing them and hope that he could outlast Mayweather.
I'm kind of disappointed in a lot of radio personalities because they're coming down on Pacquiao. And I know George Foreman, he was on the radio saying, yeah, he had an injury and he had to cancel the fight. I think in Pacquiao's case, it happened a couple weeks before the fight. And I kind of get it. I don't know. You're talking about people who are 36-ish, and you're talking about waiting a whole nother year for the fight. A whole nother year. And if he said, I kind of feel like it was a damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yep.
I think if he'd have come out and said, yeah, my shoulder's injured, blah, 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 he's going to get just beat up in the press. Mm-hmm. And I think he went through with it. Now, they're talking about, people are saying, yeah, we're going to sue, they're going to do this. They're treating him like he's a criminal.
Yeah.
Which in boxing, how funny was that?
Well, they're treating Pacquiao like the criminal, and who's the one who served time?
Yeah. Well,
Mayweather served time for beating women.
And Pacquiao basically, I kind of thought he did the admirable thing. Now, maybe he shouldn't, or somebody should not have come out and said that he was injured. Maybe that's what you're not supposed to do. Maybe he keeps that to himself and gets the rematch and comes back and just shows us what he can do. But that's not the way it worked. That didn't happen that way. And people are beating him up over this.
Okay, now here's the thing. We all know boxing, there's a lot of half-truths in what goes on. So there are people that are accusing him of just coming out and saying he was hurt, but he wasn't really hurt. If Pacquiao was hurt, if he really was hurt, and I tend to believe that
he had surgery.
Yeah, if I'm tending to believe him. I admire the man for stepping into the ring knowing that he was going to be at a disadvantage. He was already at a disadvantage because all the experts pretty much had said that Pacquiao wasn't going to win this fight anyway. But he still stepped into that ring. He manned up. Whereas Mayweather would have said, I can't do it, I can't do it. If Mayweather had that same injury, this fight would have been postponed for another year. I guarantee it. But Pacquiao manned up, and he stepped in the ring, and he did what he could.
I would like to say that I didn't realize some of the things about Mayweather, about things in his past. Michelle Beatles, who has nothing to do with this show, I wish she did. She does.
Yeah, so do I.
She said, she said she had her credentials taken by the Mayweather camp.
Yes.
And I was reading something where she said, she loves wrestling. She kind of took a step back from it because Triple H was coming out for Mayweather, and then she went in to say why, and I didn't realize what Mayweather had done, and I get it. I now get it. If you're coming out for this man in Camp Mayweather, knowing what he's done, and it doesn't seem like he's any better.
No.
It does bug me rooting for him. I know you wanted to talk about that. The same, and I'll go into mine after that. But having this guy who went to prison,
he served time. He was convicted. So this is a man who has been convicted of beating women. He served time. He served a couple months in prison. He's actually served time. He's been found guilty. The problem becomes he's never shown any remorse for this. He's never shown that he's changed his ways.
Nope.
Never done any of this. Stephen A. Smith, who I
we both like Stephen A. Smith.
I respect him a lot for his sports opinions, for what he knows and his knowledge.
And I like.
I watched him do interviews with Floyd Mayweather, basically praising Mayweather as almost a god of the sport. Riding in, I saw the interview where he's riding in the car with Mayweather. Very fancy, nice little car, laughing and joking and having a good time like they're buddies. Here's my thing to you, Stephen A. Smith. You are riding with this man and supporting him and everything that he has done in his past. That is what that looks like to me.
Me too.
If I am, it's like you are no longer allowed to speak out when a football player beats a woman or when anybody beats a woman, because you have shown that you will still support a man who will beat a woman. You are no longer allowed to step out and step up on your soapbox and criticize anybody else, because you are willing to sit and ride in the car with this man who is convicted of it. And serve time for it and sit there like you are the best of friends, not asking him the hard questions, not trying to, really get into the man's head.
It's not like it's deflating balls here.
Yeah, it's not like he's deflating footballs. He's punching women in the face.
You know what?
And you're supporting it. That's what that shows to me.
It does.
You are no longer allowed to step up on that soapbox when anybody else does it, because you are perfectly willing to be best friends or act like you're friends and buddies with the man who has done it. So just don't, Stephen A.
I didn't see it, and the thing is, I don't know how Bayless felt about it. I didn't see any episodes with them talking about it. It does bug me because you know what? I like their show, and I like both of their opinions. Stephen A. on basketball and a lot of this stuff. But Randy, you just opened my. I didn't know that. I have not seen that episode or that thing with Stephen A.
It was just an interview that they had done.
But you know what?
It wasn't on the show.
What comes out of that
he had done with
is exactly what you said. You come out as someone supporting that type of thing. There's a difference between, doing your job, having to do the interview, having to talk, and then there's a difference for rooting for this person. Yep. And, it goes back to a little bit, we have the Ray Rice. Now, Ray Rice, he hasn't been playing. We do have the Greg Hardy.
Greg Hardy.
And so it comes off as we are supporting these people because we will forget. I had some of these sport, and this is a little off the subject, but that's what I'm known for. Some people say, Brady and some of these other guys who've done HGH should just come out and say, like Giambi, I did it. I'm so sorry I did it. And apologize, and the American people will sweep you back in and just love you again. And there's a lot to that. American people are like that.
Well, okay.
But think about. They're talking about things that these people did, the HGH or whatever. They did it to themselves for the most part. We're talking. They're wanting these people who have done these dumb little things, as far as I'm concerned, by steroids.
HGH, steroids, stupid things.
You got it. Flating balls.
But they're doing it
to come right out and apologize like it's a big deal. And yet we accept Greg Hardy back. We get into a car with Mayweather. People root in Camp Mayweather for this man. It boggles my head. Where are
morals? Where do we stop?
And I stuffed it back in the F word. Fire truck. Where our fire truck laurels are.
Well, okay. So and that's the part that's disappointing in all of this. It's like there are people that are still rooting for Mayweather. At least I'll say this about Ray Rice: what you did was horrible, but he has apologized a million times. He has showed remorse. He is, and I'll tell you this right now: if Ray Rice could still run the football, somebody would have taken him. He's at least shown remorse. He's tried to at least apologize a million times. I've never seen that out of Mayweather. I've never seen it out of him. I've never seen it out of Greg Hardy. I mean, there are people that they've screwed up, they apologize, and they try. Jason Giambi, I did it, I'm sorry, and look, we accept him back in. Then you got Palmero, I never ever did it. Then he got busted, but he never apologized.
And how about, let's go.
We're going to have to wrap it up pretty quick. Go ahead and end your
show. 15 minutes are killing me.
15 minutes goes quick. Go for it, Sean.
Okay,
end the show, buddy.
I'm just going to say, we I don't even know. I can't do it in that little time.
It's like we may have to do another show on another week.
So we got 20 seconds. By the way, the last show, 3 seconds before Facebook or
before 15 minutes. We did 14.
So I'd like to thank all of you for watching Neutrals and Infractions / that mediocre sports show. And we're out.
Bye.